Okay, so this is the question on para summary. So let's see this particular question. So contemporary psychology is a form of mythology insofar as it is an attempt to succour our need to believe in stories that provide a sense of value and signification in the context of secular modernity. So since the language looks slightly tricky, let's actually understand what the sentence is talking about. So they say that contemporary psychology is a form of mythology. So they say that kind of psychology, contemporary psychology. Okay, so it's a form of mythology. Okay, insofar it is an attempt to scorp our need to believe in stories that provide a sense of value and signification in the context of secular modernity. So basically, they say that psychology acts like a mythology. Okay, why it acts like a mythology? Because it kind of helps people build stories that give life a meaning in a secular world. Okay, so that's the case. Key psychology gives a meaning to the life. Okay, in a secular world. Okay, and it helps people build stories, and those stories give life a meaning in a secular world. That is what this line is saying. Okay, now psychology is not solely the science of the mind. Okay, it's a form of knowledge enmeshed with our mythical understanding of deeper questions of significance. Okay, so it says that psychology is not solely the science of the mind. Okay, it's not a kind of a science of the mind. Okay, it kind of mixes. It is a form of knowledge enmeshed with our mythical understanding of deeper questions of significance. So it says that it mixes scientific approaches with the kinds of meaning. Okay, making we used to get from myths and religion. This is again, there's a bell at the door, so I need to just open it. Yes. Okay, so sorry for the disruption. So yeah, it says that psychology is not solely the science of mind. Okay, so they say that it's not only the science of a mind; it's a form of knowledge enmeshed with our mythical understanding of deeper questions of significance. So they say that it's not just technical or something the science based. Okay, it's kind of, they say that it enmeshed is mixed. Okay, with our mythical understanding. It's a form of knowledge enmeshed with our mythical understanding of deeper questions of significance. Okay. So it kind of, it says that it mixes scientific approaches with the kinds of meaning making we used to get from myth and religion, right? Now, in our secular age, many people no longer turn to sacred books to understand who and what they are, right? So they say that now in our age, okay, secular age, very few people consult religious texts for identity and purpose, okay? So that's the case, right? Psychology is where many find meaning. Okay, so they don't turn to the religious text, okay, but they turn to psychological ideas instead, right? Now, indeed, the stories we tell ourselves through psychology fulfill many of the same functions served in the traditional practices of mythology. Okay, now they say that the narratives produced by the psychology or the stories that we tell ourselves through psychology, okay, they perform similar social and psychological roles as mythology once did, right? Now, falling somewhere between a social science, a natural science, and human science, it isn't simple to determine which type of knowledge the study of the mind is supposed to pursue. Okay, so they say that the narratives produced by psychology perform similar kind of social and natural and human science role, okay, and a psychological role as my I mean like falling somewhere between a social science and natural science. So it says that psychology kind of sits between the different academic traditions. Okay, so it's a kind of, it isn't simply determined. So it's not clear, okay, whether it should behave like a social science, it should behave like a natural science, or it should behave like a humanities science, right? Now, that's the case. Which type of knowledge the study of mind is supposed to pursue? Psychology aspires to the say status of the physical sciences, okay, and but it tries to explain much more and ends up revealing much less, okay. So they say although psychology wants the authority of the physical sciences, okay, because it attempts to answer very large and value-added question, but it often falls short of producing the clear and definitive knowledge. Okay. So in short, in case if I have to talk about this particular summary, so it talks about that contemporary psychology. Okay. So the first idea is we can say that the contemporary psychology, it functions like a mythology. Okay. Now, why it functions like a mythology? Because it kind of gives us the value and significance, okay, in a secular age, okay. Now they also say that it's also being a kind of you can say very unclear, okay, because it's kind of you can say that it's based on a lot of disciplines, okay, but it again often fails to give you something which is very clear. So this was a broader idea of it. Let's see what are the options, and this the case. The correct answer to this question is option number D. Okay, it talks about contemporary psychology offers framework reminiscent of past mythologies. That is true. Okay, so it talks about. Let me just clear the drawings here. So it says that contemporary psychology, okay, offers framework reminiscent as reminding you of the past memory of past mythologies. Okay, so it's a form of mythology. So that's absolutely correct. Okay, this actually mirrors the point passage that psychology is a form of mythology. Okay, and then it says that to interpret the human experience. Okay, now to interpret the human experiences again to succor our need to believe in stories that provide a sense of value and signification in context of secular modernity, right? So it talks about it that psychological stories fulfill many of the same functions as traditional practices used to do. So this is covering this part also, right? And yet it may fall short in its endeavor. Okay. So this is slightly to the final sentence that it tries to explain much but ends up revealing much less. Okay. So that the this is the case कि जब हम उसको aspire कि उसको क्या status मिले physical sciences का, but it ends up revealing much less. So that's the case. So the option D is correct, and it's covering all the ideas of it. Let's see the other options. Now, option number A says that psychology is the modern mythology that has replaced the erstwhile sacred books by providing a sense of value and significance to modern humans. Okay. Now, first of all, the problem is that that has replaced, okay, the passage says that many people know they no longer turn to sacred books. मतलब वो sacred books को पढ़ते नहीं है, okay, and then psychology is where many people find their meaning, okay. So questions in our secular age, many people no longer turn. Psychology is where many people find meaning, okay. It never says that psychology has completely replaced the sacred books for everyone. So that is a big problem here, okay. Secondly, it knows the passage ka one of the main point that the psychology disciplinary because it create a sense of ambiguity. Okay, यहाँ का भी यहाँ का भी यहाँ का भी so proper clarity नहीं है. Okay, so that's the case. So this is also being missed here. So A is not your answer. Now in today's secular world where religion no longer holds value, psychology provides a sense of value, yet it still fails by revealing very little. Now this looks like a very appealing sentence. Okay, but then again there are a lot of problems here. It says that. In today's secular world where religion no longer hold values, okay, where does the author says that the religion has no value, okay, it says again that the people no longer turn to sacred books. So agar wo sacred books ko refer nahi kare, that does not mean that the religion holds no values here, okay. So that's again the problem here, right? And again the passage is more cautious, okay. वो ये नहीं बोल रहा है outrightly कि that psychology performs myth-like social functions. Okay, it is psychology provides a sense of value, yet it still fails by revealing a very little. Okay, so problem hai yahan pe. I mean, the tone problem is also there here. Okay, and this it's not a very absolute kind of a thing, right? कि psychology provides a sense of value. Okay, so वो भी नहीं आ रहा है उसके अंदर, and it also misses that idea that the psychology performs something that interprets the human experience, वो story वाला function, okay? So वो भी यहाँ पे कहीं पे missing है. Now, psychology is an amalgamation of mythology, social science, natural science, and human science human science that attempts to provide worth in the context of every modern society. This is definitely not an answer. Okay, so it captures ये वाला discipline, heterogeneity को cover कर रहा है. Okay, but it omits the main idea that psychology functions like mythology. Okay, it mentions mythology, but not that the I mean, like, it's an amalgamation of mythology. Okay, और उनका सबका ये है. No, that's not the case. Okay, human science that attempts to provide worth in the context of modern secular society. Okay, where it is that it falls short in its endeavor. So wo bhi nahi tha. So that's the reason that the D is the correct answer. It's more balanced and correct. I hope you got that.